What is up, YouTube? Spider Slayer 5 here. And today, I'm bringing you guys a little live gameplay commentary about an issue that's probably going to be a little more real and political in a sense than stuff that I normally do. Now, as you can probably tell from the title of the video, from whatever I'm going to title it, today's commentary is going to be very much on the political side, so that's why I thought my Smurf character in Dark Souls, good old Dark Souls 1 on PC, was the best possible option for gameplay. Excusez-moi. But essentially, sorry, I just got a lot of things in my throat today. But essentially, what I wanted to talk about today is Donald Trump's little tape scandal. I warn you, if you guys get offended by political commentary, especially from someone who isn't a certified political expert, I will try to keep this as unbiased as possible, but, I mean, no guarantees. This is America. Biases do exist. So, if you don't want to hear anything about political business, then turn away now, because you will definitely not like this commentary. I already can guarantee it. Alright, and this is a live gameplay commentary, so, if I, just kind of randomly stop talking, it's because I am tryharding. Ow. But, yeah. I got the little snake boys killed. So, what I'm going to be talking about is... So, okay, for those of you who don't know, and I don't know really how you don't know because there have been memes about it, and it's been all over the news and all this jazz. I mean, given the fact that there are memes about it, should mean that just about anybody who uses the internet should know about this. But a little while ago, I believe it was October 10th, Donald Trump had a tape released of him 11 years ago saying some pretty nasty stuff. He was saying a bunch of very vulgar and sexist things, nothing good. He was... You know, he was saying a lot of nasty stuff about demeaning women and kind of treating them as sex objects, which is never right. You know, you should never do that. Very wrong. But essentially, so he was caught on video saying some very nasty things. He was on like a bus. I've watched the tape, and it was indeed nasty. He was saying a lot of really crappy stuff, but I think, and you know, his approval numbers have dropped significantly since this little tape was released. However, I'm not really here to talk about the subject matter of the tape. I mean, it was nasty stuff. It was very vulgar. Much bad language was used. However, what I'm here to talk about more of is the more suspicious and sketchy aspects of the tape. Now, the tape was released just before Trump had a very big and important debate with his rival Hillary Clinton. And the people who released the tape was The people who released the tape was NBC News. I mean,
where did you?
Let's face it, NBC, they're pretty liberal, and Trump's, you know, supposed to be more on the conservative side, because he's supposed to be with the Republicans.
Indeed. Or a ball, I'm afraid. So here I... But who knows?
But here's kind of what happened. So the tape was released right before Trump had his big debate with Hillary, and it was a very important debate at that. And, it was released, and, I mean, people were asked, there were dozens of questions asked about it. People were very concerned. They were like, yo, what's going on, Trump? Why'd you say that? Why'd you say that? Can we question you about that? Basically, just about, like, every question that Trump got asked during the debate was pretty much just stuff like, oh, man, why you say that? Do you believe in that? Do you actually believe in demeaning women? Which, I mean, I can't speak for Trump's character. I do not know him personally, obviously. If I did, I would be a little more famous. So, I can't speak for if this is indeed how Trump really does view women, and if he really did do the things that he claims he was doing in the video. However, I mean, hopefully he didn't. However, this is what I'm more curious about. in terms of stuff about the tape. You see, the NBC, they claimed that they had the tape a very long time ago. Like, they said that they had the tape. However, why didn't they release it sooner? My big question is, if they had the tape before, how come they didn't release it when they got it? The tape was purposely released by NBC just in time for the debate. That much I think should be obvious. It's not just, them crazy conservatives being like, oh, they're just salty that their candidate is a terrible guy. That their candidate was saying some very mean things and very sexist and just, well, very rapey things. And I don't agree with anything that Trump said. I don't agree with anything he said. I don't think anything he said was right. However, why was it just now that the tape was released? That's my big question of the day. They could have released that tape at any time. Any time at all. They could have released that tape and there would have been any issue. People would have known that he said these things a long while ago. But no. They chose to release it right at the time of the debate. Right then. Right near the end of the election, and it was a very important debate to win. That's when they chose to release the tape. And I wanted to make a commentary about this because I just found it funny how, everyone's bashing on Trump right now, which, isn't really that hard of a thing to do. He does kind of make him, he is kind of an easy person to bash because, it's Trump. He does say a lot of dumb things that get him in trouble. However, I just find it interesting how no one is questioning everyone's questioning Trump about everything he said, which I do think it's fair. However, at the same time, you gotta think that tape was 11 years ago. If you don't think that people can't change within 11 years, then, well, I think, we kind of gotta see who really is the type of, we kind of gotta look at what kind of person you are. If you're just gonna hold something to something that somebody said from 11 years ago, it makes me a little suspicious. And, well, yes, the things that he was saying in that tape were awful. They were very sexist, they were very rapey, and just horrible things to say. However, something you gotta kind of look at is that people talk like that quite often. If you go to a school or a construction site, you will hear that kind of talk. Now, does that mean it's right? No, not at all. I'm not condoning that kind of talk or those kind of actions in the slightest. In fact, I'm very much against, any sort of sexual assault, whether it be male, female, or anything. And I don't agree with anything he said. I'm not saying, oh yeah, it's totally right to grab people that way. No, I'm not saying that at all, and I don't think anyone should believe that's the right thing to do. However, you kind of got to look at the facts, and the facts are, people talk like that quite a bit. And while, yeah, that sucks, people talk like that all the time, as well as that tape was 11 years ago. And NBC, they had that tape well before the debate. They had that tape, they had their hands on that tape for quite a while. But they chose, just then at the debate, that was the proper time to actively release the tape, because they knew that it would be so damaging and damning to Trump. Which it is. The tape has, kind of, in a sense, did screw over Donald Trump quite a bit. Is it like his chances of the presidential election are ruined? No, not really. Sorry, he is still a very viable option. Well, not viable. He's still a very possible candidate for the election. So if you were hoping that Trump was going to be kicked out because of this, sorry, it doesn't really work that way. However, his chances at winning the election are lessened quite a bit by this tape, which I think Oh, crap. Which I think is the reason why they chose to release the tape the time they did, because they knew that it would be so damaging to his campaign. NBC had the tape before, well before the debate. They probably I wouldn't be surprised if they had the tape even before Trump was in the actual, like, running. Before he actually was the nominee, the Republican nominee. See, this is why I don't really do live gameplay commentaries, because my mind ends up splitting on focus between the game and, hello good sir, on the game and the commentary, and things just get jumbled. But anyway, NBC had the tape a long ways away. Like, they had the tape for a while. It wasn't like they just stumbled across it and they were like, oh, we gotta get it out as soon as we can. They had the tape for a while. They chose to release it at the time that they did. They knew very well what they were doing. And it is no secret that NBC is more liberal than, say, Fox News or CBS. Ow. So I think this really kind of brings us to the issue of, we gotta wake up, America. And I don't mean to sound like Anonymous here. I got killed again. I don't mean to be all, oh, anti-government, or, oh, you know, we gotta, oh, I'm a part of Anonymous, we gotta show what's wrong with the world, because I think what's wrong with the world is fairly obvious. However, we do kind of gotta look at how this is a very clear, and almost, I would say, hello sir, a very perfect example of media manipulation. And every media station is responsible for this. And NBC, CNN, CBS, MSNBC, Fox News, even local news, but definitely not to like the same extent. They all do this. They all have the biases that lead to manipulation. Now, I'm not saying everything the media says is, you know, them trying to manipulate you. I'm just saying a great portion of what they're saying is them trying to manipulate you. Which, there we go, which really kind of sucks, I think. See, I wish that we could have that we Americans could have a news station that just wasn't biased at all. That there wouldn't be any bias, and it was just flat up news, not news, and then commentary saying why this portion of the news is better than that portion because it fits with this portion's agenda. And every news station is responsible for some form of media corruption. That's just a fact. You gotta look at the facts here, pal. The media is trying to corrupt you. Okay, not corrupt. That's kind of a harsh word. The media is trying to get you to think the way that they think. Fox wants you to think like a Republican. MSNBC wants you to think like a Democrat. So, they feed you different numbers. They feed you different stats. They tell you different things. I mean, okay, no, they all tell you the same thing, but they put their own little spin and twist on it to get you to think that, oh, this is the real news, and this is what, you know, this is the fact. When in actuality, I didn't meet the jump, I'm dead. Oh, I'm not dead. Okay, look at that. When in actuality, it ain't just the full-on news. So I think with this whole Trump tape scandal, I don't think, like, yes, we should focus a bit on what Trump said, and we shouldn't just let him, you know, get all, like, scot-free and be like, oh, well, okay, everything you said is perfectly fine, we're not gonna hold it against you. Because I do think this is an issue that he does need to be, maybe not, like, tried for. I don't really think, given that the tape was 11 years ago, and that they were just primarily words, no actions, at least as far as we know, I don't think there should be, like, legal action taken against him. Not yet, at least. However, I do think we kind of gotta look at how the media, this is like, we just gotta look at how the media is trying to kind of manipulate you. And, I mean, let's face it, the media is quite good at manipulation. You look at any, like I said, you look at any news station and there's manipulation there. The media is, especially TV media, they are constantly trying to manipulate you. That's just a fact. And it's a sad fact, because I would rather not have people trying to manipulate me. It is just the way things are, as sad as that sounds. So I think we just kind of got to look and not focus just solely on what Trump was saying and how, oh, he's the worst person in existence because he was saying these offensive things that were, you know, very wrong to say. And I do not say that anything he was saying is right or that he should be let off scot-free. But at the same time, we kind of got to look past the fact that Trump was saying some mean things, some sexist, sexually harassment-like things, and kind of focus on the bigger issue here, which is the media trying to manipulate the polls by choosing when and where to release certain bits of evidence about other candidates. Like, how much you want to bet if Fox News had a very good and just, like, solid bit of evidence against Hillary Clinton that, you know, it was like, oh yes, proof that she did indeed delete those emails. 100% guaranteed proof. Do you think that they would release it immediately? I mean, they might, but they probably wouldn't. They probably would save it for a time near the election date, like a debate or something like they did with Trump, to just really mainly damage her polls. Because at this point, unless the candidates, like, flat out murder somebody, nothing bad, legal-wise, is going to happen to these candidates. They're going to get off, anything they do, they're going to get off scot-free just for the fact that they're this far into the election. And while, yeah, that does kind of suck because both candidates do have some sketchy things about them that I do think needs to be brought to light, they're both pretty much locked in, and it's either going to be Trump or Clinton in the election, unless people choose not to vote at all, which I think is dumb because, let's be honest here, the main reason why we even have this type of bad election in the first place, where either candidate is sketchy and honestly is just going to make things bad one way or another, that's our fault, people. That's the American people's fault because people never took voting seriously enough. And now, we got quite the crappy election. Both candidates are going to screw us over one way or another. You just kind of got to decide which kind of screwing you want. But I'm not going to go too in depth about what I personally think of the candidates, besides the fact that I think they're both bad. Like, they both have things that are bad about them that I don't think are going to be good for the American people, but it's just the way it's going to be, unfortunately. But I think that this whole Trump thing, honestly, is just kind of a big shower that you gotta watch out for the media trying to manipulate you. Media manipulation is not a lie. It's not just, you know, some trick of the liberals or some conservative's ploy to get you to try to vote against, you know, try to get you to convert to a single side. However, it's just, media manipulation has been going on forever. It's been a thing since the very beginning of, well, not necessarily the very beginning of, but it's been a thing for quite the while. The media has been trying to manipulate you forever. That's why I personally think just sticking with, like, articles, like, reading about the issues is the way to go. Not so much this whole thing of, oh, you know what we gotta do? We just gotta listen to what these people in these fancy suits tell us. Because if you can't think for yourself, well, then I pity you. So basically, I just wanted to make this video to kind of make people aware that media manipulation is a thing. And, well, yes, Trump's tape is truly awful. He did say some very bad things that I in no way think are right, that I in no way agree. But I don't think that's the biggest issue here. Like, yes, that is indeed an issue. However, I don't think that's the only thing going on here. I think we also got to look at the fact that here that the media very well knew what they were doing when they chose to release this video. They didn't release it because they were like, oh, we gotta let the American people know. They released this video because they knew that it would be very damning to Trump. and that it would very badly hurt his polls, his approval ratings, which it did. His numbers have gone down a lot since this video was released. However, we can't just get locked up on, oh yes, Trump said this bad thing. We gotta focus on that there are other issues here at play. The media very well knew what they were doing when they released this video at the time that they did. And I think that we just kind of gotta wake up and just kind of look at, this is a thing. Media manipulation is a thing. And we gotta be careful about it. We can't just take everything we hear on the news as fact. In fact, you really just shouldn't take anything you hear at all as just fact. You gotta do your research. So that's the end of my video. Like, if there's a big idea that you need to get, it's just that watch out for media manipulation. Look closer and listen better when you go around watching the news or reading articles. Because the media, they're not there for you. They may claim that they are, that they're there for the American people. But the sad truth is, they're really not. They got an agenda and they're there for themselves. That's just a fact. And I don't mean to be like, oh my god, the government's gonna kill us all. I'm just meaning to say that we gotta be careful. We gotta watch out and learn to recognize when we're being manipulated by not only the media, but by other people too. So that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. I was just in the mood to play some Dark Souls, and I was like, hey, my Smurf character looks nice. And I think his level of ridiculous look, I mean, let's take off his helmet real quick. Yeah, look at that. Look at this beauty. I think my Smurf character, kind of, I think he fits the election, like what I view this election as pretty well, which is just flat out ridiculous and in one way or another will screw you. Like, this guy would totally screw you in bed, you just know it. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the commentary, and like I said again, my main message, like I said, I'm not supporting what Donald Trump said. I'm not thinking that what he said was right, and I do think, you know, there definitely should be some concern in what he said. But there also should be a lot of concern in what, like, Hillary said and has done too. Both candidates aren't scot-clean. Both candidates have quite a bit of dirt on either of them. Just different. I mean, Clinton's got that email thing going on for her, as well as Trump's got that sex thing going on for him. So we just gotta be careful. We just gotta watch out, look around, and just be more aware that the media is, in one way or another, trying to at least slightly manipulate your thinking. So I'm just basically saying, just guys, just be careful, be more aware, listen to what, I was going to say listen to what your heart says, but that doesn't really help that much in politics, to be quite honest. But just listen closely, and look carefully at what the news is feeding you, and just kind of look for yourself to see if this really is indeed news or commentary. And the commentary is always trying to get you to believe something. So sorry that this video is dragged on. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you guys got my main message, and I hope you guys realize I'm in either way supporting anything that either candidate has done or said. I think the U.S. is screwed no matter what candidate wins, in all honesty. But we'll just have to see. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed that very awesome Iron Golem cheese. I would like to say I did it on purpose, but in all honesty, it just happened to be that he was just standing there at the right time when Tarkus and I just whooped his butt. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.